Hey everybody, it's Emily, the Crazy Worm Lady. It is time for a European Nightcrawler update. So I wanted to bring you guys along and see how they are making out. Last week it really appeared to me like adding all that extra bedding and living space had really enticed a lot of the worms into this area. I mean, they just seem to have gotten much larger and they seem much more active. It feels nice and warm down in this corner. I'm thinking that's where we had our bell peppers. And usually when things are breaking down, they do heat up a little bit. That's why you really want to be careful about not overfeeding your worms. So, let's see. I mean, look, I just dropped him. Look at the size of some of these worms. I mean, they're nice and fat. There's a little, that's what some people call a wisp or just a baby worm. So, they seem to be getting along really well in here. So let's see. Here's our corn cob that has been slowly decomposing for months now. I just refuse to take it out because I tend to find cocoons. Although I'm not seeing any cocoons on it right now. But oftentimes they'll be kind of lodged in the little divots where the kernels were. So let's take a peek over on this side. And again, it feels warm. Like this whole bed feels warm and not like hot, like it's too warm for them, but definitely much warmer than the bedding at the top or the environment around the bin. Our house is at about 68 right now, I think. But these worms are just getting so big. This is going to be perfect for fishing. It is trout season in Maryland. Unfortunately, there's not many native trout left in Maryland, so they do stock farmed trout, and we enjoy fishing and eating those trout. So, I mean, they're just all throughout here. So, I am encouraged by that, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of undigested food in here at all. So I have a big bag of food that I've been adding bits and pieces to my bins today. So I think I'm going to use the same bag of food and add some, it's veggie stock and some coffee grounds. So let's pull back some of the stuff in this corner here. And it's a little damp down in the bottom here, but no smells like we've had in the past. So I'm going to add some of this and add some dry bedding, and that will be our update. So let me bring this bag over here. It's got some of the vegetables from when we made stock and a whole bunch of coffee grounds just from my coffee maker, making coffee every day. So I think this will give them some adequate food, and it also has some tea bags. A lot of people will put their tea bags in here. If they have any of the little metal staples, you want to pull those out. But I use Yogi brand tea, and the type that I get does not have any sort of staples in it. So let me grab some eggshell here that I'm going to sprinkle over the top. And I don't worry about sprinkling over the worms. People are like, oh, you're going to dry them out. They quickly dive below and it wipes right off of them. So, cover this up a little bit more. And then I'm going to add a whole bunch of some shredded paper that I have from a friend. It is office paper, and office paper is a little bit slower to break down, but it's perfectly fine in your bins. You just sometimes have to pull out the windows from mail and things like that. But that honestly doesn't bother me. I'm going to add all this dry bedding on top, and since it does feel a little bit moist down in the bottom, I am not going to wet this down at all. I'm just going to let the bedding around it absorb into this. And it'll also act as a good barrier against any sort of bugs. So I've got a few guys I upset by turning things over. And it looks like I buried my rags that I've been covering them with. So I'm just going, oh look, this was a coffee filter that I grabbed from work. they'll eat the filters as well. So now I'm just going to cover the top of this bin with my rags, another barrier against bugs, and it also helps to hold the moisture in so that the top doesn't dry out. So I am going to leave it like this today. I'll leave the lid off and the light on for a few minutes so these worms settle back down into their bedding and don't try to escape on me. But it has been raining, and that tends to be a time that worms go exploring and climb the walls. But when I opened this bin, I didn't see anybody trying to get out. So I think they're pretty happy in their little home here. So I will be back next week with an update. Please like this video, subscribe if you want some more content from me. And I will come back with you guys next week for a new update.